So one thing that comes with starting over, Shannon, is that you're starting over and that you have to figure out what to do when you do this thing that you're going to do. And I was having a conversation with somebody actually on the beach. He was starting a business and he's like, yeah, it's kind of the same as this other thing. So I'm not sure if that's good. And I'm like, oh man, like, don't look for a unique idea. And I gave him my ideas, or if you want an idea to be worth $100, write it on $100 bill. Like, ideas aren't worth anything. It's all about execution.
True.
And your execution is going to be different than someone else's, even if you are using the same idea. And if it's not going to be different than someone else's, if you're looking at somebody else and saying, well, they did it perfectly and exactly the way I would do it, that might be the thing where you would say, I got to find a differentiator. I got to find where I can put me into this. But imitating people, I think, is a good thing, right?
I agree. Remember when we had Greg Mercer from Jungle Scout on the show?
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I reached out to him is because I was super impressed that his business analyzes Amazon sales and gives you a ton of data. And his thing was, okay, let's show how it works and that it does work. I'm going to find a product on Amazon, look at what they're doing, imitate what they're doing, but change it a little bit. I don't know anything about this. And I mean, talk about a crazy product. He picked bamboo skewers, giant, big bamboo skewers for like marshmallows around the campfire, that kind of thing. So and I'm sure this is still up at junglescout.com. He did a whole series of videos of looking at it going, okay, what can I learn from this? And he imitated, but then he improved upon it and he made it different. He said, okay, let's do a bundle and let's include this and let's do this. And he tried something. So, as a phrase I've heard, imitation before implementation or, those kinds of things where I think that's where it always starts, right? I mean,
I guess. I mean, I think we could find exceptions to this, right? Where people do something completely out of whole cloth that in their mind, at least not consciously, perhaps subconsciously, but not consciously.
Even like the iPhone.
Oh,
the greatest product ever, so to speak, right? Sold
Apple hasn't created other than. And even this, I would argue, other than the first product, right? The Apple computer, right? The Apple II. That was the first all-in-one bundled personal computer. Yes. But it was created that way because they had seen the kit-based personal computers and said, we could do this better. So even, I know they get credit for like being the first personal computer. I don't think that's, that's true.
And the Mac OS, I mean, they borrowed that from Xerox and all this kind of, so over and over.
Everything is an iteration from Apple on other people's things and also on their own things. But they weren't the first with a smartphone. They weren't the first with a graphical interface. They weren't the first with a smart watch. They weren't the first with a smart tablet.
Yeah,
they weren't, headset, none of it. Yep.
That should never stop you.
No.
And that's how, like, my background before I got into tech was I owned a construction business, a landscape construction business.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get into tech. And I was like, how do I do this? And nobody would hire me. I had no skills. I was just young and just all I had was a big mouth. But I finally got this guy to listen to me. He wouldn't hire me. I don't have the money to hire you. And I just volunteered. And I said, okay, let me just come to your office and sit there and I'll help. I'll answer the phone. I'll take out the trash, whatever it is. Let me volunteer.
Yep.
He said, okay, no problem. So me and a buddy, we volunteered. I convinced this guy, Chris, to come with me. And I kind of focused on sales. He focused on the back tech, engineering stuff. And I just observed and I watched this guy in his business. And I said, I can do this. Not only can I do this, I can do it better. And I didn't do it there. I moved because that was a college town. And in the beginning, I thought his model, which was kind of a home, local repair, sales kind of business, that was my model. I was like, I'm going to do this. Quickly, as we rode the wave of the internet, it all blew up. And I realized limiting myself to that model would have been a mistake.
Would have been a mistake, yeah.
Yeah. But I just imitated him at the beginning because I didn't know what to do. So like if you want to be in the printing business, go, find somebody in that business. If you want to be an influencer, reach out to an influencer, and people, they will like to help. If, if you want to be, I know some very successful people in the finance business, in the insurance business, and I'm constantly hearing them talk, oh, so-and-so asked to take me to lunch, wanted to talk to me how I did this, how I did that. All of us like to tell our story. So reach out and imitate.
Ask people to tell their story and then imitate. Yes.
And imitate what they're doing.
I said something to you on this show, episode 326, almost 3 years ago, May of 21. I said, being an entrepreneur is a blue-collar job. And I think this whole episode epitomizes that. Being willing to learn something new, being willing to admit that you have something to learn, being willing to put the work in to learning, being willing to put the work into creating your business, doing whatever it is that needs to be done for your business, not feeling like you're above this just because you're the owner.
Yep.
Let me tell you, that ain't how it works.
That is not how it works.
If you have that mindset, either get rid of it or go get a job working for somebody else where you don't have to do the things that you feel are below you.
Yeah,
pick one of those two.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. Option number one is more fun. But if you think you can do option number one without cleaning a toilet every now and then, it ain't how it works.
And it's also a big part of, this isn't a show about leadership, but it's also being of service, that kind of leadership. When you're of service to your people, they connect with you better. They believe in you. They believe in your cause. We did a show about what's your noble cause, which I love, and it helps motivate your people. It adds tons of credibility to you. And it just like, we did this show on the news, building a newsletter and connecting with your clients. Being of service to your team and your employees connects you to them on an entirely different level. That's why
be of service to your customers too.
Yes, both.
All of them. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I always harp on this concept of you should be barbecuing out cooking for your team. I know it sounds, whatever, cheesy or whatever, but it totally works. And you get to sneak a meeting in while you're cooking and you're talking and you're getting to know them, and Joe's having a kid and so-and-so wants to buy a new car, and that goes in your database. You're like, I gotta help, figure this out for this guy. And this is an opportunity. And, he's not leaving anytime soon because he's having a baby, and then this and this.
Yep.
And so you pick up all these nuances about your people,
team. Yeah.
And being of service is how you build loyalty over decades. And
I agree.
Hopefully you can do that. So
yeah.
But imitation, man, figure it out. And I'd love to hear how you've done it. Help us spread the word. So somebody who's sitting out there right now going, I can't start this because so-and-so already does it in my town or whatever.
No,
let's help.
If you see that you could, my favorite moments are when I am encountering a business. I might be a customer of theirs, whatever, experiencing a business somehow. And I say, man, they're doing it wrong. I wish they would do this and this and this differently.
Yeah.
And those are the moments I've learned to notice and be like, wait a minute. Do I want to get into this business? Because I already have my business plan. It's everything they've done plus or minus the things that I just articulated that I feel are wrong with this. Because if I feel they're wrong with it, I've learned there are other people that feel the same way as me.
And I always follow it up with, Lord, grant me the strength to not start another business.
Good luck with that, my friend.
I know.
Good
it's great. I'd love to
that.
hear your tips on this and how you got started and who you imitated. Or if you think we're wrong, if you think you got to be unique, come on, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Feedback at businessbrain.show.